Let's take a look at Sarvangasana, shoulder stand, which is a whole body pose that is going to drain fluid from the legs, improving venous return. It's going to stimulate the digestive system, balance the endocrine system, and help to bring energy to the brain to uplift consciousness. So we start on at least two folded blankets we're encouraging, because this pose creates significant flexion of the neck, meaning you're going to stretch out the back of the neck quite a bit with a lot of body weight. So we want to make sure that we preserve that natural inward curve of the neck in this pose as much as we can and over time as we practice. So we're starting in a supine position with both shoulders on the blanket, and you can see there's about 2 to 3 inches here of space between her shoulder and the smooth edge of the blanket. And we're going to avoid turning our head in this pose, as the neck will have some stress on it. And palms can be face down. As we enter the pose, we'll lift our legs to vertical, press down through the arms as we lift the buttocks up. Drawing the hip joints forward, we can bring our hands to our back side as we walk our shoulders under us. A little bit of wiggling is natural here. As the hands rest on either side of the spine for support, we can start to walk our hands down toward the shoulder blades, and we want to try our best to get those elbows in to shoulder distance apart. She's straightening up through the hip joints so they're directly above her shoulders, knees above the hips, ankles above the knees. Beautiful vertical line here. And she's pressing down through her foundation. So the backs of her arms, tops of the shoulders, even the back of the head can press straight down, and that's going to engage her neck, keeping it long, open, and supported as she lengthens up through the spine and the legs. Beautiful. And this pose can be very internalizing. It helps to induce deep peace, relaxation, restfulness. So she can relax her feet and just receive this energy as it flows to her brain, as she can mentally affirm, God's peace now floods my being. And to exit, she can bend her knees, drawing them over the face. You can either slide your hands out the back side of your body or press the arms into the floor as you roll the spine out, one vertebra at a time. Relax the legs. And just keep your head down for several breaths before pressing up, because you want that blood to redistribute after being inverted. And if you feel like your neck needs a release after this pose, Matsyasana is a great position to practice afterwards. And lastly, we just want to show you this pose at the wall. This is shoulder stand, Sarvangasana, at the wall, which is a great way to approach this full body inversion in stages, especially if you're still working on building your strength in your shoulders, abdominal muscles, and your lower back. So we're starting with 2 blankets about a foot away from the wall, and Karen's going to roll onto the blankets by placing one forearm down and trying to roll onto the center of those blankets. So both shoulders are on the blanket, as well as both elbows, and there's about 2 to 3 inches of blanket here above her shoulders. Okay, she's starting with her buttocks at the wall, arms are straight and legs are up the wall, and she's going to avoid turning her head in this pose. So to enter, she'll bend her knees, placing the soles of the feet against the wall, pressing into the wall as she starts to lift her pelvis up and away from the wall. She can also walk her feet up as she does this. We're trying to bring our hips all the way forward so they're stacked above the shoulders. She might need to come onto her tippy toes to get to that place. Then we can interlace our fingers and stretch those arms toward the wall as we roll the shoulders under, one at a time. And she's really straightening through the hips here as she draws them forward. Next, she'll place her hands on her back on either side of her spine for support, and we're going to try our best to get those elbows in at shoulder distance apart. And then as she starts to engage her abdominals, she can straighten up through one leg at a time. Beautiful. You might need to walk your hands down by the shoulder blades. And we have our ankles, knees, hips, and shoulders all stacked vertically here. And to protect her neck and keep her spine long, she's going to press down through her foundation, which is everything that's touching the floor, to give her a long lift through the spine and legs. And then to exit, she'll bend one knee at a time, bringing the foot back to the wall, pressing into the wall to help her release the shoulders, the spine, rolling all the way out. And just resting here. She might close her eyes and integrate the effects of this powerful full body inversion. And lastly, we just wanted to show the option of when you come up into the pose, instead of coming into the full pose, you can just keep your feet in contact with the wall. This is a great option if you're working on your balance, so keeping that support with the wall is helpful. You can also straighten one leg at a time and just alternate legs as you work towards building up to the full pose. And that was shoulder stand, Sarvangasana.